Hey YouTube, thanks for stopping by. If you're new, hello and welcome. If you've been by before, welcome back. The past few months I've been doing videos on where Chucky is going wrong with the TV show. Things that could be done better or could be avoided for the better. So basically I've been criticizing the show, and I want to state for the record that I don't dislike the show. I thought season 1 was a masterpiece. I thought season 2 went backwards a little bit, but still had enough of its great moments to be considered a good season. And now we're halfway in season 3, and I want to see how much I actually enjoyed from the first 4 episodes. Obviously, there's going to be spoilers ahead for Chucky. Just thought I'd put that out there. Let's get right into it. I want to start with the thing I loved most about the premiere, which is that there is a story brewing outside of the Chucky story. I feel like in season 2 and in all of the movies except Bride, everything directly had something to do with Chucky. Chucky was always the only focal point, more or less, but they seemed to have different plans in mind for different characters, such as the president's oldest son, the reporters looking into the president, etc. The reason why I bring up Bride is because one of the best things about it is that it's backed by the Jesse and Jade love story that was already occurring on its own with or without Chucky. I can't think of any other point in history where that's happened besides maybe season 1, but even their stories were all moved along by Chucky's presence. When a character's existence is head to toe based around Chucky, it gives them less of their own presence. We're here for Chucky, but it can also be about Andy. It can be about Niga. Season 2 showed us that it can be about Tiffany as well. The difference between Chucky and Tiffany is that their stories began from two completely different perspectives. We all know how Chucky came to be, and Tiffany, her journey began as the lover of that individual who eventually had to bring him back after so many years to get on with her life and companionship, which didn't pan out as smoothly as she'd probably hoped, but you get the idea. It looks like they have a lot planned for each individual character outside that main trio and Chucky. Things may even be taking a turn for the president himself, judging by episode 4. This is something to look forward to. They went kind of backwards by killing off that reporter, so I don't know if there's anything still happening with that plot point, but hopefully they can make something out of it with the person she was working with. I did hear her say something on the phone to him moments before her death. Since this was a topic I discussed in the previous video, it only makes sense that we talk about the theme of the show, the genre. As I mentioned, the franchise tends to switch over a lot. Season 1 was a little scary, Season 2 was campy, and Season 3 appears to be bringing back that Bride of Chucky tone, which, like I said, that's acceptable for me as long as it's not seed. You have the very detailed deaths that are kind of hard to take seriously because of how they go, like someone's head falling back, the chandelier death that gave us a face peel, and then Chucky expressing his humorous side like he has been since Cult, but the tone is serious and not all of the kills are comedic, like Teddy's death and Mrs. Fairchild, which I think was a fake out death because if they're looking to go the extra mile and get creative with each of these deaths, why was hers Chucky's most simplistic kill in a while? It's because they don't want to make her body indisposed so that she can continue to live. Just a thought. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Another thing I liked about Teddy's death is that they showed Chucky retreating to a discreet spot where he looks innocent, so that by the time someone walks in, there's nothing to suspect. That contributes to the mood and suspense of the horror element, and as far as everything goes with that, I like it. It's not Child's Play 1 or Curse, but it's definitely an improvement from both the previous seasons. Moving on. Seed of Chucky took things in a completely different direction. That was when Chucky decided that he didn't actually want to be human anymore. So then in Curse, he's just on a revenge mission, which he then decides is going to be slow and painful of a death for Nika. In fact, he even says that there are worse things than death, and that's what we got out of Cult. Then in the show, it looks like he's just causing chaos by turning that cult of his into an army, and then getting revenge on the people who ruined that. The pattern we're seeing here is Chucky making the best of being a doll, causing chaos in the process, or at least trying to, and then having it out for anyone who gets in the way of that. So, since then, it's been a matter of Chucky, what he does next, and his potential victims. We haven't really gotten anything that deals with Chucky facing a challenge as a doll since Seed, which was always him trying to become human before it's too late, since the very beginning. But now, with him aging and dying as a result, since he can't switch over to human vessels anymore, we finally have Chucky facing a new challenge and having to suffer consequences beyond one of his doll bodies dying, if not. And I think that's excellent. I look forward to seeing how it ends. One only thing I would say about it is they could have introduced it to us better. I wasn't really feeling the Chucky visits the doctor scene. You mean to tell me this season is dealing with the concept of the main trio trying to expose Chucky to the public, but there's a clinic where everyone can openly be supernatural beings of different origins? I feel like instead they could have had Chucky resort to and track down a more complex voodoo book that would have dealt with that sort of thing in particular. This is what I mean when I say Campy Chucky doesn't do it for me. Why I'd prefer it if they just go back to something like Curse. Last thing I want to talk about before I give my ultimate score of this half of the season is the expectation given in promos versus the reality of what we got. And I don't really have much to complain about in that regard, which is a good thing. I feel like almost everything down to the tone and manners of Chucky was carried out exactly as they promoted it. So they didn't have to deal with the whole we're going to use the best parts of the show to entice people to look forward to those parts, so they don't know that those good parts are the only good parts there are. The only thing I have to say in which it wasn't was using Chucky's dream sequence with Andy and promoting it as a full-fledged Alex Vincent return and plot point with Caroline. Now, I'm not certain if he's actually coming back this season or if any legacy characters are, which is a very important thing when it comes to this show. And if they are, now we have absolutely no idea as what to expect, because what I had in mind based on that scene, which was just Chucky dreaming the whole time, was based off of that. But that's a dream. Now we have no details on what part Andy could play this time around. And it's interesting because I remember attending an Instagram live of Alex's, and people are always there asking him about Chucky, even when it's not the conversation. And he was like, I guess you'll have to see if I'm coming back. And at the time I took it as he's coming back, but it might be in a smaller form, or he just can't outright say it, because season 3 has been very tight knit at this point in time. But now that I've seen that scene and I'm reanalyzing the way he said it, now the vibes it gives off is very, I guess you could say I'm coming back, but not really. It's just a brief little dream sequence with Chucky. So now I think that could kind of be all the Andy we're getting, potentially. I feel like if Tyler were to come back, we would have seen him by now because of the White House setting. And I feel like if the Silva were to come back, it would be connected to the return of Andy. So now I'm completely in the win about where the legacy aspect of the show is going. And I hope they haven't abandoned it, because that would be really disappointing in my opinion. There's more to go off of when it comes to legacy characters other than just Andy and Kyle. And my hope was that last season's send-off for Andy and Kyle was saying goodbye to the duo, particularly Kyle, so that they can bring back Andy with other old familiar characters such as Tyler, De Silva, and even the Kincaids, with or without Andy. Hopefully they don't waste a season to do that, now that Kyle is seemingly out of the picture, especially since this season is giving off huge series finale vibes. But other than that, the show's off to an amazing beginning. It started strong, ended strong, and I look forward to seeing it return stronger and end even stronger than that. And by the looks of it, that's exactly what will happen. Thus far, based on what we've seen, I rate the season a 8.5 out of 10. I feel like they improved where I wanted to with the genre, and it's not like they can erase completely the humor Chucky that we've been getting since Cult, uh, since Bride, really, but you know, they at least they were able to eliminate that for one movie, which was Curse. But I say since Cult, since that's it hasn't stopped since Cult. But I think with the second half in totality, it could be higher than that. So, anyways, thank you all for watching. Please consider leaving a like. Subscribe to stay tuned for my review of the second half of the season. And feel free to check out my other recent Chucky videos. And until next time, goodbye.